Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of my F1 career mode. Today we are Austria and I'm quite confident on getting a good result at Austria. I'd love to be able to get a podium if possible, but top 5 will probably might be a little bit more realistic. So I'm going to go ahead and get practice done and we can jump straight into qualifying. Okay, so this is the ending of my best lap in Q1. As you can see, I'm purple and green to the first and second sectors respectively. Currently sitting in P22 because this is my first couple of runs out. We go over the line and we set a 102.439. It puts us 17th, which isn't amazing. We're going to go round again. We go really wide on the first corner. I think in real life, obviously, we would get that written off for track limits. Obviously, it's important to get the right braking zone here, get as far to the left as possible and come in to the right hand side, get in the apex. Get on the power quickly as we go down the hill up to turn 3, I believe this is. Gotta try and use as much curb as you can on the left, turn in on the right, use curb on exit and then get a good exit out of the turn 4. Hardest corner on the track in my opinion is that one we just went through. We did that quite well. We're almost identical as we managed to go green round that corner. We're now 5,000ths of a second up. Can we make any time up for the last 2 bends? We managed to do that corner quite well. We gained 2 tenths. This corner we cut it a little bit and then go wide on exit. We managed to gain 4 tenths of time and that puts us P16 for tomorrow's race.
You're into P16?
We did get into Q2, but I thought we were so far behind. If we have a look at the timings, we were 3 tenths down on Perez, so I thought I'd save the tyres and head into the race.
Welcome to the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill turn 3. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Now, I want to ask you about Lewis Hamilton. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Bottas, Matsushita, Vettel, Perez and Carlos Sainz, Giovinazzi, Gasly, Lance Stroll and Tsunoda, Ocon, the owner-driver, George Russell and Guan Yu Zhou, Lundgaard, Mick Schumacher, Mazepin and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, strategy-wise, we're going to go mediums, soft, soft. Obviously, a safety car could change that. But for the time being, if nothing happens, we're going to go medium, soft, soft. And 5 red lights, and away we go. We get a good start on Ocon, who scares us a little bit, manages to pull over as we go round the outside at turn 1. I paused it because I don't know what happened there. I paused it and we're going to carry on. We move up to P11 and we're stuck behind Perez now. We've got Giovinazzi on our inside as we go up the hill to turn 2. We go round the outside of Matsushita. Obviously, track limits isn't exactly that worried about in Sector 1, basically. And I think someone got damage in all of that. If you can see, there's a lot of cars bunched up all together. We go round the outside very wide, just trying to avoid any damage, to be honest. We've managed to put 5 cars between us and Giovinazzi on that one corner. Let's have a look on board one of the Red Bulls. I believe this is Perez, who goes up the back of an Aston Martin and loses a front end plate. So I feel like one of the Red Bulls will have to pit at the end of this lap. I believe it's Perez, but I'm not 100% sure. We're in P7 now. We go wide on that corner, as I did mention in qualifying, is quite a hard corner to get round. And we're on the chase now for Matsushita for P6. We get another track warning there, so we're 1 warning away from a penalty already on the first lap. As Lando Norris dives into the pit lane, Hamilton sets the fastest lap. I'm not sure why Lando Norris pitted. He is actually going to get a front wing, so maybe he got caught in a bit of trouble on that first hairpin. As you can see, a little replay of a bunch of cars coming up to turn 1, and I think that was the Red Bull as well, as you saw pulling into the pit lane. As Giovinazzi looked like he was stuck behind Gasly there. Lap 2, and we set purple and green. We're doing quite well. Obviously, we're waiting for our medium tyres to warm up as much as we can. As we can see on the mini-map, there is a yellow
DRS
flag.
is being enabled this lap.
Now, I'm not sure what quite has happened there. We're going to go have a look, but it looks like there's a few cars. As one of the Aston Martin dives into the pits, and I don't know who that is. One of the Williams crashes into him, and then Alfa Romeo, I believe it's Lundgaard, crashes into the Williams. Not quite sure what has happened there. I'm guessing Vettel's, or one of the Aston Martins, I think it's Vettel, it might have been Stroll, has slowed down for the pit lane entry. As we go wide, as a safety car is deployed, we managed to get off the accelerator to avoid a penalty.
There have been further incidents out on the track, so the officials are moving to a full safety car.
One of the occurring things in Austria this year is that well, not just on the game, in real life as well.
Delta is
the
too
pit
low
lane
and we risk a penalty.
is on the racing
Slow your
line.
pace
So
immediately.
because you have to slow down for the pit lane, you end up getting hit because people aren't aware that you're going into the pit. They just think you're taking the racing line. So potentially that is one of the most dangerous pit lane entries on the calendar. And maybe the FIA need to have a look into that because it can cause problems. Alright, safety car is coming in on lap 5. And we are in P6. Obviously, Lando Norris pitted. So we're in a good position here for good points.
The track is clear.
Sorry, we're
Green
in
flag.
P6. Can we get a good run on Matsushita going into the first hairpin again? We get we take the first corner very well.
3/10 a lap.
Can we somewhat catch up to Matsushita? Obviously, he's got traffic in front of him. So we go round the outside of the Mercedes, but unfortunately we can't get a move done. Right, we're coming around the last bend again, and there is another yellow flag at the final corner. I'm not sure what's happened. It looks like
There's been an
Lando
incident.
Norris has gone into the pit. So what has happened here between the McLaren? The McLaren goes into the pit, and as he goes into the pit, a Williams crashes into him, and there's an Alpine and an Aston Martin behind them. I think they luckily avoid any more further damage. So Lando goes into the pit. I'm not sure if the Williams got damaged, but on simulation you would expect him to have damage. As one of the Mercedes does lose his back end there, as we managed to catch up to, I believe, to Matsushita. We go green, green. Can we manage to set a fastest lap? I'm not sure if we will on this current lap. We set a 105.172, which isn't bad. But here we are trying to get round Matsushita. We go round the outside at the hairpin. It's technically turn 3 because they count the kink in the straight as a corner. This is a replay. He did manage to get the position back. We're on to lap 10 now. We've set a purple sector 1. Can we push ahead and try and set a fastest lap of the race? We do have DRS, as you can see up the road. Verstappen is fighting with Valtteri Bottas. And Bottas manages to get P3 onto the podium. Okay, so Bottas is into the pit. We're up to P6, P5 now.
Green flag. We're racing again.
Bottas wants to get off those soft tyres as quickly as possible.
Slow down,
Another yellow
Your
flag
delta
on
is
the
negative,
same position.
which means
Lance
you are
Stroll
too
is
fast.
out of the Grand Prix. George Russell is out of the Grand Prix. As you can see, there's an Aston Martin just parked on the racing line. He's hit into a Haas. Obviously, simulation damage has taken the wheel off, and then George Russell just hits into them. Massive crash. Red flag would have come out in real life. Lots of debris all over the track. 2 drivers in a big crash. And as you can see, Lance Stroll and George Russell are out of the Grand Prix. That is our 5th retirement, I want to say. Okay, apparently it's only our 2nd retirement. As we dive it into the pits on lap 11 to get off these mediums, we're going to go on to softs. And as you can see up the road, Ricciardo and is that Hamilton has also gone into the pit. Mercedes are going to be double stacking, which isn't the best for Matsushita. We should get out ahead of him. And for some reason, Ricciardo ghosts ahead of us. Are we going to get out ahead of Matsushita? No, we get held. Matsushita and Vettel managed to get past us.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit.
If we were half a second quicker on that pit stop, we probably would have got out ahead of both of them. The safety car is coming in at the end of lap 13. We're down in P11, obviously.
Green flag.
With the 2 safety cars now, we're not sure where we are provisionally. We could be in the top 5, but people might be stretching out their tyres. Like, we haven't actually got a clue at this current stage where we are on track to finish. Just have to wait and see what happens. Bottas is actually behind us now, so as we go around the outside, we almost dive into the back of Sebastian Vettel. He potentially might have got some damage in the fight between him and Verstappen, but we'll have to find out maybe at the end of the race. We'll go have a look. But we almost hit into the back of Vettel as he locks up his front right going into turn 3, and we managed to get the position. Obviously,
a new strategy is available on the MFD.
As we almost avoid a crash. I don't know, I think that was Schumacher behind us.
The virtual
Another
safety car has been deployed.
Slow down and maintain a positive delta. We're now on to 5 retirements. As you can see, Matsushita hits into a Haas driver who slows down for the pit entry. Again, this is the 3rd time that this has happened. This is on board with Lando Norris, who smacks into Matsushita, and Lando Norris is also out of the Grand Prix. This is a Ferrari driver who also is about to lose his wheel, again crashing into a car.
There is no overtaking until the green flags. Safety car in this lap.
We have lost a lot of cars out of this Grand Prix now. I'm not sure if that was Leclerc or Carlos Sainz, but we are back to green racing on lap 16. Ocon is in P2, and I think he isn't supposed to be there, so we're provisionally P3, I believe, currently. Carlos Sainz has a 10-second time penalty. I'm not exactly sure what he's done. Ricciardo's in P1, Ocon P2, Verstappen P3, we're 4. Vettel 5, and then Carlos Sainz P6 with that 10-second penalty. So we go round the outside at turn 3 on Verstappen. Instead of making an overtake, we end up almost losing a position to Sebastian Vettel as Giovinazzi goes up the inside of Carlos Sainz, and Sainz gets him back on the following lap.
Gap to
now
car
on lap
in front
21
is
as Vettel overtakes
1.6
us.
seconds.
Can we manage to use some ERS and DRS to get the German back? We'll obviously try our best as we do carry a lot of speed going up this hill. We're going to force him to the inside, go to the outside and try and regain the position. As he tries to go up the inside, there's a little bit of contact, but both drivers get away from the incident scot-free. Okay, so we dive it into the pit lane on lap 24. We've got 11 laps on a fresh set of softs. Hamilton is provisionally P1, Ricciardo P3, about to be P2. Tsunoda's P4, Verstappen's P5, but Tsunoda and Hamilton are yet to do their final. Okay, Tsunoda was actually into the pit then. Lap 26 and Hamilton is now into the pit. Going on to a fresh set of mediums, which is a bit of a weird one considering I went on to softs 2 laps ago. So it'll be interesting to see where Hamilton comes out and what he ends up doing towards the end of this race.
Gap to teammate behind is 24.1 seconds.
Okay, so we've got Hamilton has eventually come and caught us back up and overtaken us just as we change the camera angle and have a look. We're going to re-overtake him on lap 31. and put ourselves back onto the podium with 5 laps to go. We leave the door wide open there for Hamilton to just go back up the inside with DRS. So Hamilton should re-overtake us here. We're going to squeeze him to the inside at turn 4. And we'll try and go around the outside. Albon-wise, like what happened in the Grand Prix a few years ago. I believe that might be the Styrian rather than the Austrian Grand Prix. As we go up the inside of Lewis Hamilton here. And we manage to regain our position. Our tyres are about 20% worn, so they should be more than okay for the rest of the race.
You've taken damage
and
to
Hamilton,
the
for some reason, pitted again.
To feel a little drag.
I don't recall him getting damage, but we're on to the final lap here.
We're leading our teammate by 22.2 seconds.
With 2 DRS straights to go. Can we get Vettel to get back onto the podium? We're going to go around the outside, take a little bit of grass and have the inside line. No, we don't. We do switch over to the outside, leave the door open again, which allows Vettel to get up the inside with DRS. And it looks like the German is in a great position here to re-overtake us. Unfortunately, Vettel does get us back. Can we go around the outside at turn 4? We try our best, but we don't. We try the switchback, but our tyres are a little bit worn now. Vettel's tyres are probably peak performance, so unfortunately we do, as we go wide at this corner again, we do lose P3 to Sebastian Vettel and the Aston Martin, and we come over the line in P4. If you have enjoyed this episode, leave a like and subscribe,
pick up rubber
and I will
bring it
see you in
home.
the next one. Goodbye.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here at Austria. And a truly magnificent drive to hang on and take the win. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
A reliable car, that was the most important factor here. This was a real battle of attrition, and you could tell those at the front were trying to find a balance between running their outright pace and taking care of the car to reach the end.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm really happy to see them there on the top step of the podium. Daniel Ricciardo can be happy with the points he's earned today as it pushes his lead out even further. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
Nicholas Latifi gets my vote today.
Let's move on to the constructors. McLaren continue to increase their gap at the top. Another team that excelled today was Williams, who make further progress up the table. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.